Hey everyone, CV Tech here, back with a part 2 video of the HTC Desire 626S. I received several comments about this phone and want to know a little more information about this phone, like with certain fonts and with the original keyboard. And I want to address those questions here in this video here and just do a wrap up of what of the HTC Desire 626S. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, this phone is a very well made device. It's a very good phone. And for $100 to $130 for this phone, you really can't buy a phone. This budget device is really going to beat it. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. It is low end. It is a budget device, but it's very premium, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and get into some of the questions here. One was I did show the Google keyboard, and I got a question here that would like to see the original keyboard that came with the phone. So go ahead here and power it up. And as you see, there's that really nice, pretty screen again. So we'll go into the messages here, and we will look here. And here is the original HTC Sense keyboard. Now, it's about like Google, the Google keyboard. You know, a really nice keyboard here. Predictive text does really well. And you can also go here and hold down, and there's all your emojis. So it's pretty well loaded with emojis. That's like the number one priority. With text messages is having these emojis, and as you can see, there is quite a lot. Now, I'm not going to sit there and go through every one of them in detail, but you can pretty much see that it does have quite a bit, and so there's really no shortage in emojis. Now, you can go also this button down here, hold it in, and it also takes you to the settings, HTC Sense input settings. You can do keyboard selection, which you can do different languages, vibration feedback, sound feedback, error keys, trace keyboard, advanced, which you can trace color. You can do different colors here. So like I said, this phone is very customizable, which is really awesome. Next word prediction, calibration tool, um, prediction dictionaries, personal dictionary, stuff like that. So yeah, this right here is the HTC original keyboard that comes on the device, and it does work pretty good. Hey, how you doing today? And the correction is pretty good. Down here, you can hold this in, and you can talk in your message, and let's see how accurate it is. So yeah, pretty accurate. So that right there is your keyboard. Now the next question here that I want to address is fonts. We'll go into settings here and go into personalize, and let's go down here. Font style. You have several different fonts. You have default font. You have this font here. This font, which we'll back out and see how it looks. Does change some. Not a whole lot of difference in some of these fonts. Origami, HTC theme. So really, it does not change a whole lot when it comes to different fonts for some reason or another. Even when I do change them, you will change this one here and see if it does any changing. So it does have several fonts, but nothing really too majorly different from the original font. Now you do have font size of small, medium, large, extra large, and huge. So extra large, of course, makes it a whole lot bigger. If you're older, making it easier to see. You can have it really small. So yeah, pretty much you can just do all kinds of stuff like that. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of font I like keeping it on large most of the time. But as far as the the fonts go, there's really not a whole lot of selection that's really gonna make a big difference, like you see on some of the LG phones that has the completely different fonts and stuff of that nature. Now I'm sure that you were able to download other ones, stuff like that, but right now, that's about all you really get as far as font availability. Now the phone, sometimes I do want to make mention of this here. I did make mention that the phone is very smooth and it is very fluid in the way it does. Now I will say, if the phone is powered off, just say you power your phone off to charge it, and you power the phone back on, it does take a good 2 to 3 minutes for the phone to smooth out. If you power it off, power it back on, it is laggy. It does not want to work right. It's like it's just struggling to get smooth. But after about 2 minutes of being powered on, it's like it completely smooths out and there's no issues whatsoever with the phone. So I did want to make mention of that. And when you do any kind of change like the font, stuff like that, it does seem to slow down a little bit. Um, and everything else. So let's see if there's any more questions here that I can answer right fast like. One, someone asked me if I like this phone better than the LG Volt 2, and that is a definite yes. I know that the LG Volt 2 runs the Snapdragon 410 processor, which is a two. This is a 210 versus a 410. With 1 GB of RAM on the Volt 2 with 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. And honestly, this phone here runs smoother. It's not as laggy, and it's just the overall better experience with customization and just the overall smoothness of the phone. Camera seems to be better, except it's on the exception of the front-facing camera is better on the LG. But as far as sound quality goes, call quality, and just overall basis of the phone, this phone does dominate the LG Volt 2. Uh, you know, and also the battery life. Yes, the battery life is poor. Um, it does, it depends on how much you use it. If you use the phone a lot and you are a really heavy user, then yes, it's not going to last very long. But like I said, if you have a power bank, you can buy a nice 3 to 4,000 milliamp hour power bank for like $10, and you can always keep it charged, carry it in your car, your backpack, whatever, and always have a spare um, quick charger there to charge up your phone. Or if you're in your car for a long period of time, have a car charger, stuff like that. Um, Pretty cheap to buy them now, and always have something to charge your phone with if you're going to be out for a long period of time. So really bad battery life is not really that big of a deal, unless you're just constantly using your phone very heavily. Um, Let me see here if there's any more questions that I can answer. Also, talking about RAM. Now, this phone does have 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, so that really helps out with gameplay. Now, the ROM being 8 gigabytes. Now, it would be nice to have 16 gigabytes of onboard storage with this phone. Unfortunately, you only get 8 gigabytes available, and about 3.5 gigs available to user. Now, some phones do seem to slow down a lot when you do add a lot of apps. And I will go in here and I will show you how much storage I have left. And as you see, 7.24 of 8 gigs. And if you look here, I've only got 774 megabytes free, so it's pretty well used up. And I have, when the apps here pop up, uh, time is flying on this video here, so I'm trying to make it as short as possible. But time seems to always be flying. I'm trying to do a video. 2.81 gigabytes of apps used, so it's pretty much almost all the way used up. And the phone is very smooth and just still don't have any problems. I mean, there's really not much else I can say about the phone other than the fact that If you want superior battery life, this phone may not be for you. But of course, there's always other alternatives with charging the phone if you're out and about. Camera quality is really good. I will go into the camera for just a brief minute here and kind of just show you how the camera app is and how some of the. I'll take my Alcatel One Touch here, and you can look here and see that even in this normal light in here, it does take pretty good pictures. I mean, this picture here, uh, zooming in, it's clear, and there's really no issues whatsoever. This is a really good camera on this device. And and of course you have your this button here, got your night mode, HDR, and all these others, micro mode. So HDR mode is really nice as well. Go ahead and take a picture. Got to have very uh, steady hands, and using HDR, it clears it out, and it just looks very good. There's really no issues, and there is a lot of different features right now. I won't take the time to go into everything, and of course here, push down here, and you have your selfie camera, which there I am. Don't look too awful bad, but it's not the greatest for lower light, but it does do the job. So yeah, pretty much just you can also use HDR in front-facing picture, which is very strange. So looking at this picture here that I took, it's pretty bright and it does look okay and it does pass. It is passable. So that's just a little brief look at some of the camera features there. Nothing too, advanced right now in this kind of video. Trying to keep the time down on it a little bit, but hopefully this answers some of your questions. Like I said, the phone is very smooth, very fluid, and I have no lag. I mean, the phone just works very well. Um, and so, yeah, I hope this answered all your questions tonight. If you got any more questions or comments about this phone, leave them in the comment section below. My verdict, to me, my verdict on this phone is 2 thumbs up. I think it's a great phone and well worth to buy. So any questions or comments, leave in the comment section below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If this video was helpful in any way, leave me that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Hit that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Stay tuned for the next video.